Hey everybody, welcome back to Easy Languages. You can use this B1 English listening and shadowing practice lesson to improve your listening skills and comprehension while listening to natural English. Before we begin, make sure you're comfortable, relax, and simply focus on understanding the main ideas. You don't need to understand every single word. Just listen and enjoy the process. Are you ready? Today, I'm going to talk about immigration. This is a topic that has become increasingly important in recent years because the world is more connected than ever before. Thanks to modern transportation, technology, and global communication, moving to another country has become much more common than it was in the past. Every year, millions of people decide to leave their home countries and start a new life somewhere else. Some people move for work. Others move for education. Some are looking for a safer place to live, while others simply want a new adventure and a chance to experience a different culture. Whatever the reason may be, immigration is a life-changing experience. I find this topic particularly interesting because I have spent time living abroad myself, and I know many people who have moved to different countries. Through those experiences, I've learned that immigration can be both exciting and challenging at the same time. Today, I'd like to talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of moving to another country. Let's start with the positive side. One of the biggest benefits of immigration is the opportunity to experience a new culture. When you grow up in one country, many things feel normal because you've known them your entire life. You become accustomed to certain traditions, foods, holidays, ways of speaking, and social customs. However, when you move abroad, you suddenly discover that people do many things differently. At first, these differences might surprise you. You may notice that people greet each other differently, eat different foods, have different schedules, or think about certain topics in a completely different way. This can be a little uncomfortable in the beginning, but it can also be incredibly rewarding. Living in another country pushes you outside your comfort zone. When we stay inside our comfort zone, life feels familiar and predictable. But when we challenge ourselves with new experiences, we often grow as people. Moving abroad forces you to adapt to situations that you may never have encountered before. You learn how to solve problems on your own. You become more independent. You gain confidence because you successfully handle situations that once seemed difficult. I think this personal growth is one of the most valuable parts of living abroad. Another great benefit is that you have the opportunity to meet people from different backgrounds. When you move to another country, you're likely to make friends who grew up with completely different experiences than your own. You learn about their culture, their traditions, their perspectives, and their way of life. These friendships can teach you things that no textbook ever could. In many cases, they also help you become more open-minded. You begin to realize that there are many different ways to live a happy and successful life. Another advantage of immigration is the possibility of better career opportunities. This is one of the main reasons many people choose to move abroad. In some countries, jobs may be limited, salaries may be low, or economic conditions make it difficult to achieve certain goals. As a result, people look for opportunities elsewhere. They move to countries where they can earn a higher salary, gain valuable experience, or advance more quickly in their careers. I've spoken with many people who made this decision. Some moved abroad to work in technology, Others found opportunities in healthcare, engineering, education, business, or skilled trades. For many families, moving abroad can significantly improve their financial situation. Of course, earning more money is not the only reason people move, but it is certainly an important factor for many immigrants. Another positive aspect of immigration is the opportunity to learn a new language. This is one of my favorite benefits. Learning a language in a classroom can be very effective, but there is something special about living in a country where that language is spoken every day. Suddenly, you're surrounded by the language. You hear it in stores, on public transportation, at restaurants, at work, and in conversations all around you. You don't have the option of avoiding it. At first, this can feel overwhelming. You may struggle to understand what people are saying. You might make mistakes when speaking. You may even feel embarrassed sometimes. But little by little, you improve. Because you're using the language every day, your progress often becomes much faster. Many language learners say that living abroad helped them reach a level of fluency that would have been much harder to achieve otherwise. When you're constantly exposed to a language, you begin to think in that language more naturally. You learn everyday expressions, common vocabulary, and cultural references that are difficult to learn from books alone. Now let's talk about some of the challenges of immigration. Although there are many benefits, moving abroad is not always easy. In fact, it can be one of the most difficult experiences a person goes through. The hardest part for many people is leaving loved ones behind. When you move to another country, you're often moving away from family members, close friends, and familiar places. Even if you're excited about your new life, you may still feel sad about the people you left behind. You might miss family dinners, birthdays, holidays, weddings, and other important moments. Modern technology certainly helps. Today, we can make video calls, send messages instantly, and stay connected more easily than ever before. However, these tools are not the same as being physically present with the people you care about. There are moments when you simply wish you could sit down and spend time together in person. For many immigrants, homesickness becomes a regular part of life. Some days are easier than others, but most people never completely stop missing their loved ones. Another challenge is culture shock. Culture shock happens when you're exposed to customs, behaviors, or ways of thinking that are very different from what you're used to. At first, everything may seem exciting and interesting, but after some time, the differences can become frustrating. You may find yourself wondering why people do things a certain way. Perhaps the bureaucracy is different. Maybe communication styles are different. Maybe social expectations are different. Sometimes small misunderstandings happen because people have different assumptions about what is normal. Even when you genuinely enjoy another culture, culture shock can still occur. It's a natural part of the adaptation process. I've spoken to many people who experienced culture shock after moving abroad. Some struggled with language barriers, others found it difficult to adapt to local customs. Eventually, most people learn how to navigate these differences, but it often takes time and patience. One important thing to remember is that culture shock doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong. It simply means you're adjusting to a new environment. Over time, many immigrants become comfortable with these differences and even learn to appreciate them. Another challenge that people don't always think about is the possibility of feeling caught between two worlds. After spending several years abroad, some immigrants discover that they no longer feel completely connected to either country. They have changed as people. Their experiences abroad have shaped their identity. As a result, when they return to their home country, things may feel different than they remember. This can lead to something called reverse culture shock. Reverse culture shock occurs when you return home and suddenly notice things that never seemed unusual before. You may realize that your habits have changed, your perspective has changed. The things that once felt completely familiar now feel a little strange. This experience can be surprising. After all, you expect to feel comfortable when you return home. Instead, you may feel like you've become a different person. At the same time, you may not feel fully local in your adopted country either. Many long-term immigrants learn to embrace this reality. They develop connections to more than one culture. Rather than belonging entirely to one place, they build a life that combines influences from different parts of the world. Although this experience can sometimes be confusing, it can also be enriching. It allows people to see the world from multiple perspectives. Overall, I think immigration is one of the most transformative experiences a person can have. It challenges you, it teaches you, it helps you grow. You learn new skills, meet new people, and gain experiences that can stay with you for the rest of your life. At the same time, it requires courage, patience, and adaptability. There will be moments of excitement and moments of frustration. There will be successes and setbacks. But for many people, the journey is worth it. Now, I'd like to ask you 3 comprehension questions about today's lesson. Try to answer them in English. Question number 1. What is one major benefit of moving to another country? Question number 2. What is often the most difficult part of immigration for many people? Question number 3. What is reverse culture shock? Take a moment to think about your answers. And if you'd like extra speaking practice, try answering the questions out loud. Speaking out loud is a great way to improve both your fluency and your confidence. All right, that's all for today's listening practice lesson. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever lived abroad, or would you like to live in another country someday? What do you think would be the biggest advantage and the biggest challenge? Leave a comment and share your opinion. Keep practicing your English every day. Stay curious and keep learning. I'll see you in the next lesson here on AZ Languages.